Hello everyone, today we were gonna talk about the 5 things you probably didn't know about Leonardo da Vinci. You may think you've heard all that there is to know about the famed Renaissance man who painted the Mona Lisa and awed the world with sketches of flying machines. But chances are, there are only few little known facts about Leonardo da Vinci's life that may surprise you. When da Vinci died in 1519, he left behind more than 6,000 journal pages with his journal musings, rosary list, and body jokes. He also detailed his sources of inspiration, his desire for lasting fame, and his deeply felt heartaches. All these sentiments form basis for Inside the Mind of Leonardo, a new film about the artist and inventor that debuted in New York City on Friday. Played by Scottish actor Peter Capaldi, the film's Da Vinci reads about from the pages of journals revealing the deepest secrets of the original Renaissance man. Here are some interesting facts about Da Vinci's life. He was illegitimate. Da Vinci was born in 1452 near Vinci, in what is now an Italian region of Tuscany. By most accounts, his father was a notary and landlord named Messer Piero Frosino di Antonio da Vinci. His mother, Caterina, is commonly believed to have been a local peasant. However, some experts believe that Caterina was actually a slave owned by Messer Piero. Da Vinci's parents never married each other. Young Da Vinci lived with his mother until he was 5 years old and later moved into the home of his father, who had married another woman. The artist's journals show that maintained a somewhat distant relationship with his mother throughout his adult life, exchanging letters with her only from time to time. His writing suggests a closer connection with his father, those whose death Da Vinci mourned deeply. He was unschooled. Unlike other well-known Renaissance artists, Da Vinci never received any kind of formal education. He did, however, receive instruction at home in subjects such as reading, writing, and mathematics. Growing up in rural Tuscany, Da Vinci spent much of his time outdoors, where he marveled at the natural world. His journals indicate that he had an especially adherent interest in the properties of water, as well as the movements of birds or prey. And in fact, artists recorded that his earliest memory was of a dream in which a bird or prey landed in his face and pushed its tail feathers between his lips. It wasn't until his teenage years that the budding artist was sent to Florence to serve as an apprentice for Andrea del Verrocchio, a prominent Florentine painter, and it didn't take long for the student to become the master. Rumor has it that after Da Vinci painted one of the angels of Verrocchio's work, the Baptism of Christ, much more experienced artist was so humbled by the young man's talent that he vowed never to paint again. Many of his works are unfinished. Da Vinci was notoriously a slow painter, and many of his works were unfinished. In, in addition to housing the famed Mona Lisa, Louvre de Paris is home to the Virgin and Child with Saint Anne, and unfinished painting depicting the Virgin Mary, an infant Jesus, and Mary's mother, Saint Anne. Hanging in one of the Vatican Museum is Saint Jerome in the Wilderness, another unfinished Da Vinci painting, this one portraying the hermitic Saint Jerome and his companion, a tamed lion. Perhaps the most intriguing of Da Vinci's unfinished works is the painting The Adoration of Magi, which allegedly features the depiction of the young, young artist himself. The painting, left incomplete in 1481, and has been held at the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, Italy, since 1670. In addition to these unfinished paintings, Da Vinci left behind many unfinished inventions. In fact, there is no evidence that any of the artist's inventions were ever built. Similarly, none of his writings were never published during his lifetime. He was persecuted. Da Vinci was 24 years old. He was arrested along with several main companions on charges of sodomy. When no witnesses came forward to testify against the artist and his friends, he charges the charges were dropped, but Da Vinci's journal suggests that the allegations were somewhat devastating to a man who liked to keep his private life private. Da Vinci also had scared for his life. In 15th century Florence, sodomy was crime punishable by death. Not long after, he, his was dismissed. The artist left Florence for Milan. He had a militant side. After abandoning his patrons in Florence to start a fresh life in Milan, Da Vinci needed to drum up a new business. His, his strategy was to integrate himself in Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. Under Sforza, Da Vinci was commissioned to create that would have been crowning achievement for his artistic career, a giant bronze statue of a horse. The project was abandoned when France invaded Italy at the turn of the 15th century. But a giant war horse wasn't all that Da Vinci had planned for the Duke of Milan. Upon offering himself to the House of Sforza, he set forth his plans to build a numerous war devices. Included Da Vinci's sketchbooks are plans for cannons, smoke machines, portable bridges, and even armored vehicles. Like his flying machine, however, there is no evidence that any of these war machines were ever constructed.